Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In case you're new here, my name is Kim, that was Romeo, and this is Core Union. I want to read an email from one of my clients. This is an inspirational story. I want to remind you guys to always listen to success stories as inspiration, not to compare yourself or your progress to someone else. Also, remember that whatever you desire is already done. It already exists because all of creation was already created a long, long time ago before you even existed in this human physical experience. Okay, so all of everything exists right now. There are infinite possibilities and potentials all existing right now. And we put ourselves on the timeline of the experience of what we want when we accept ourselves as already having it, when we accept ourselves that we can actually experience this. And it's only because of things that may have been programmed into us when we were growing up that made us feel like we weren't worthy, good enough, that love isn't safe, that it's not safe to trust, to feel safe and secure, and to just allow yourself to enjoy a wonderful life. Being able to have everything that you want to have. If you're an artist, you're a successful artist, your art sells. People literally can feel God within the brush strokes on the canvas when they look at your art. It becomes absolutely irresistible. If you want to create a business, then that business is already a successful business, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this applies to not only love, it applies to health, it applies to businesses, it applies to best-selling books, it applies to anything that you want to do to make money. Okay, it already exists. So you don't have to worry so much, but do let go of the old stuff as it comes out. And there are a number of different ways you can do that. And I've talked about that in like a million videos now at this point. So let me flip over and I'll read this story. Before I do, just so you know, I have to make this very short because I have a client coming up. I can only make this about 10 minutes long. This is probably should be a 20-minute video, but I'm going to read it relatively quickly. Hopefully there aren't that many edits. And the first part is about her pet. The second part is about her specific person. Again, I affirm and intend and pray that a lot of you guys are inspired by this, not to give up on yourself, your life that you deserve with your specific person. Okay. Before I get into this, if you love me, please do like, comment, share, and subscribe. It does help my channel grow. If you want me to be your coach to help you manifest your SP back or to manifest a change, just like with the client that I'm about to tell the story with, email me a short description to kim@coreunion.com. Go to my website, coreunion.com, book whatever you want to book, and my scheduling assistant, Olga, will get back to you. Okay, now let me flip over. And again, I'm going to try to read this as quickly as possible. So she wrote, "Good evening, Kim. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to express my deepest gratitude for our final session from the package I purchased last year. Since working with you, I've been applying what you taught me about living in the end. And instead of just thinking about it intellectually, I fully embodied it. I'm not sure if you remember, but I was dealing with a senior pet that was very ill. I'm confident that I manifested an extra 8 months of life together with him and how his peaceful passing unfolded. I declared with all my heart that I would be by his side when he took his last breath, and I trusted that when the time came, I would know without question. That clarity came, and I gave him the longest, most loving life I could. After saying goodbye, I went through 2 weeks of grief. But I share this not to make you feel sad, but to show you how living in the end helped me soothe my soul." Now, I just want to point out here that later on, she talks about being empowered and all of this, but I do want you to know that she did take 2 weeks to grieve, which is an important thing that some of you guys stuff down. So I don't want you to do that anymore. You want to process emotions and process grief. You can't hold that stuff down into your physical form, okay? That night, after coming home, I imagined him at the foot of my bed with my other pet, both sleeping peacefully. I felt a wave of calm wash over me. And then I took it a step further, and I imagined my SP holding me, wiping my tears, kissing me, and telling me how much of a caring person I am, and how beautifully loved my pet was for over 13 years. It felt so real and comforting that I was able to fall asleep easily. That experience helped me understand what I had been trying to grasp conceptually, and it became a turning point for me. Since then, I've been consistently living in the end, hearing and feeling my SP with me. When my ego or 3D reality triggers me, Sorry. I remind myself that I can give myself everything that I need. I affirm what I feel is what I believe and what I believe is real. I've applied this not just to love, but also to work in business, and I've seen results manifest rapidly, sometimes instantly. I realize that living in the end means living in the full power of knowing and not wanting. I shifted from desire and longing to embracing the state of being and having. When doubt arises, I affirm the opposite and stay calm, knowing that divine timing is always perfect. And divine timing, by the way, is when you are in your full power, okay, and you claim it. Okay, when doubt arises, I affirm the opposite and I stay calm, knowing that divine timing is always perfect. Sorry. I trust that any 3D circumstances are just reflecting old beliefs falling away. I practice forgiveness meditations, self-love, and gratitude daily, which helps keep me grounded. Recently, I needed to raise capital for my business. And instead of stressing, I went inward with gratitude, embodying the wealth and abundance that I am. This afternoon, I received the funding that I needed. Really good. During my period of grief over my pet, I temporarily forgot my power. But when I remembered who I am, everything shifted. And I just want to add here, there is power in having love and compassion for yourself and allowing yourself time to breathe and, excuse me, grieve. Okay. So that's also your power. So what you did was actually very powerful. I received love, support, and even compliments about how good I look and how radiant I've become. It reminded me that we are truly the reality, creators of our reality. Regarding my specific person, when I reached out to him after saying goodbye to my pet, he didn't respond immediately. But I didn't let that trigger me. I dropped into my imagination, receiving his comfort and support there. I reminded myself that he just started a high pressure executive role and trusted that when the time was right, I'd hear from him. I even heard an intuitive nudge telling me to keep my hair appointment because I'd see him on Valentine's Day. Instead of feeling anxious when I saw Valentine's ads, I smiled and imagined being with him. I also remembered your advice about how many holidays together we would have. So that helped me stay in the end and being in a loving and peaceful state. I fully accepted how much I love him and revised past grievances by imagining us forgiving each other. I began to see him as his perfect self, not through the lens of the 3D anymore. When I thought of him, I imagined him being just as excited about me as I am about him. When the tragic plane crash happened recently, I reached out to check on him because he often travels from that airport. Even though he saw the message, he didn't reply. I stayed grounded. Instead of spiraling, I affirmed my self-love and imagined us communicating harmoniously. I remembered our joyful moments together and reaffirmed that he feels the same deep connection as I do. I would say to myself, if I'm missing him, he's missing me too. I applied everything I learned in our sessions and in your videos. And yesterday he called me. It was serendipitous. I had just sat down after a busy shift at the hospital, and my phone was already in my hand when it rang. We had a wonderful conversation filled with chemistry, magnetism, laughter, and playfulness. A nearby nurse who knows how much I adore him even commented that it sounded like a flirty call. I smiled and told her it was him, and she was genuinely happy for me. He invited me on a date to celebrate his new job, suggesting champagne and quality time together. I'd been affirming that people around us would feel joy and love just from hearing about our connection, and that affirmation played out perfectly. During the call, he asked me about my pet, and I told him how special it was that they had met. I already know that when we see each other, it's going to be magical. This entire journey has shown me the power of stepping out of anxiety and into trust, knowing that everything is always working in my favor. I hope everyone listening to the story realizes the true gift isn't just in being the person you love, but loving the process of creating your reality. It's not a burden, but a blessing. The emotional and spiritual growth I've experienced is something I would never trade. Once you're awake, there's no going back to sleep. To anyone hearing this, you are so loved and so powerful. Everything you desire is already within you. Thank you, Kim. I'll send you a post-Valentine's update. I love you and the Core Union community. I'm so thankful for you and everyone who shares this journey. I pray that anyone experiencing tears of pain today will soon be shedding tears of joy. With gratitude. Please do affirm that you receive this message just with a heart down below. Please do remain in faith and don't give up on yourself or your specific person. I love you guys so much. Have an amazing day, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Nothing can come between us.